2024 continues to come to a close. The Mayor of Grafton, Mike Morrow, joins us now. Mayor Morrow, good morning to you.
Good morning, CJ. How are you?
Hanging in there. Grafton's had a great year.
Grafton's had a fantastic year.
How's everything been this holiday season for you?
Everything has been, well, you know, with Thanksgiving being so close to Christmas, it's been bang, bang, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's just moving right along.
So I'm ready to decree or call a senator or whoever I need to call. Thanksgiving needs to be the second to last Thursday of every November.
And while you're at it, have them do away with daylight savings.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's got to stop.
Get that out. Oh, my gosh.
Well, and what I think's so cool, we were just talking before we hit record here, and that's the fact that Grafton's really become this all-year-round destination.
Yeah.
And it's got to be great in your position to see the creativity and the togetherness that your business community has together.
The business community is a wonderful community up there, and I got to give a hats off to the Chamber of Commerce, Dan Ebbing, Andy Jackson, Paula Jameson, and they have a new vice president now, Jackie Duty, who does a great job.
Yep.
Oh, she's fantastic. So they do really well working with the businesses. And I also, big hats off to the loading dock.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago, they started the ice rink, which is to increase that all year round thing, and it's turned out to be fantastic.
I got to be honest. I think I've told Peter this before. When it first started, my little cousin wanted to go, and I said, "The loading dock? Why are you going out?"
Yeah.
And then you go in there and you see what they transform it into, and it's amazing.
It's a winter wonderland. Yes.
Well, a couple of years ago, too, I really got a glimpse of it. Maybe it was last year. My family came in for a little bit, and we wanted to take just a little bit of an opportunity to get outside of Alton and go have some fun. And we went to Grafton and going to the Bloody Bucket and having their Christmas pop-up bar and going. I mean, it was really just opened my eyes to this.
There's just so much to do. It's a destination.
Yeah.
And of course, tourism is our mainstay. But you know, you've got from the Alpine Coaster, you got the Zip Side for Life.
Yep.
You've got all these other things that you can do there. The marina with the boats, and then the loading dock, and then so yes, it's just a great destination. And we've had a lot of good events. Taste of chocolate and strolls and that type. So.
Well, and now, too, I mean, you're getting closer and closer to the monument being built.
That's correct. We had on November the 11th, we had another big fundraiser at the Cafe Napoli in St. Louis.
That was beautiful. We had the video running on the show, too, and it was nice to see that.
Absolutely. And, of course, we're very grateful to John and Jane Simmons for the $2.5 million donation. We've worked out a draw schedule, and we're getting ready on the 9th of January to get with the initial input for the actual design of the museum.
That's incredible.
It is.
Well, and I really think it just, to have this addition to the, not only just to Grafton, but really the region. We don't have really just that type of monument in the Southern Illinois region really at all that I can think of around the St. Louis region. So to have this here, to be a pinnacle and a crown jewel for so many folks to come and pay that respect to it, it's amazing.
Absolutely. It's going to be amazing. And it's not only going to be a regional draw, but it's going to be a nationwide draw plus international. Because
100%.
As you know, we've got commissioners that are in France working with us on this too.
That's what I think. The process has been very fascinating. And Mary and I actually talk about it from time to time, just talking about the North Alton Godfrey Business Council address you did, and to hear about the 3D scans and the Army Rangers and all this collaboration. I mean, this is a huge monumental project.
The statues are being poured as we speak in North Carolina.
Wow.
And we were so grateful that they weren't affected by the hurricane.
Absolutely.
They were up high, but they weren't affected. And, of course, we started that process this last June with, like you said, the live scanning, the Rangers coming in, the 2nd Ranger Battalion of St. Louis. And then we also had 2 active Army duty Rangers from the 75th Regiment in Fort Lewis, Washington come out.
That's incredible.
They actually posed. So we're actually in contact with those units and so forth. Everybody's gearing up for this big dedication that's coming in.
And how often are you getting updates on the statues as they're being poured? Do you get like a weekly or a monthly update?
You can go on our website and get the updates, and you can actually watch some of the clips where they're actually pouring. So
that's really cool.
Process. Oh, yes.
Really cool. Well, and you know, as 2024 is coming to a close, what are you reflecting on just as the mayor of Grafton? Is there, you know, as the year comes to an end, all these great things have happened. What's crossing your mind though right now?
Well, the first thing is we're always grateful that we didn't have a big flood event this year. We did have one in the spring, but it wasn't much. And then, of course, we had the flash flood in July. We got through that. But as far as the tourism, we were really much uninterrupted in that.
Wonderful.
And so that was great. But also, too, the fact that, just as you mentioned earlier, I mean, look what we had this year. You had the brand new art gallery. You had the across the street, I think they call it the limestone.
The limestone.
Yes. I mean, David Hand, Cindy Hand put that in. It's just wonderful. So all the businesses that are popping up, and we've got a lot of in that corridor on the east end of town there, it's looking like to be all merchandise now, which is what we really need and so forth. And then, of course, we have our regular wineries and so forth, sips and strolls. And so it's turned out to be a great year. And the other thing is that the entrepreneurship of the people, I mean, interesting. And then, of course, Santino's has moved out there, and we're going to be opening up this spring, so we're excited about that.
Well, and see, now I'm a little miffed about this one here, Mayor. I'm going to be honest with you. Was right next to my house.
I know. Well, this will just be another reason for you to come up to Grafton.
That's right. Well, and one thing that I really thought was so amazing this year in Grafton is when we went out to the Country Music Festival, and we did the live show there, and we were able to go across the street and hang out with a few bar owners and get to hear their stories. And, I think it's so unique to hear Grafton's business owner stories because they're just a little bit different than what you normally hear, and it's just everyday people that really have decided to take on this weight, because it is a weight to be a business owner in Grafton. It's not easy.
Yeah, government we don't help people, we take their money.
So it's true.
Basically, it's the entrepreneurs, the businesses that come in town. They're the ones, when people say, well, why don't you do this? Well, to me, we can't do that. You find that entrepreneur that's going to do that, and way it goes.
Well, and I think too, just the fact that Grafton's really become this destination for all people, for families, for individuals. Doesn't matter if you're 82 or 22, you're going to have some fun.
It's a well-rounded community, well-rounded opportunities to be out there. The art gallery is just
cool,
amazing. They have brought in a whole different, if you will, I don't want to say class, but basically the artist community and people coming in to do that. And you've got Gene and Donna Smith, who are running that. Jackie Duty is also working with them down there on that. They just do a fantastic job.
Well, when Jackie came on the show, she talked about it a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the Christmas Story exhibit they had going on down there. But also, where that gallery is, it's in such a unique place where, really the creative juices get flowing. No better spot than on the river in a river town and seeing, the sights of life. And we're in this weird incubator period of the Metro East in this renaissance, really. There's so many talented artists and painters and sculptors even, and it's just amazing to know that you guys are taking part of that creative surge.
And it's constantly changing and evolving as they go through. So, if you're an artist out there listening to the show, get a hold of Gene, get a hold of Jackie. Go out and see the Grafton Art Museum and see what they've got.
Absolutely.
Show your wares.
Now, I got to ask you, have you rode the Alpine coaster?
I have.
Wow.
Twice.
Man, am I the only one that has not rode this thing?
I took Congresswoman Mary Miller came
Did
up.
you?
And she and her husband, and a while back when it was nice weather, we did that. And she wanted to tour Grafton. She was here for about 4 hours.
Wow.
Visited all the places, the marina, loading dock and everything. And then, of course, we rode the Alpine coaster, and it was fantastic.
Well, and see, I think it's really been great, too, to see these national figures like a Mary Miller, coming down and being a part of this region, because you can't get frustrated when they don't know you're there, and now they're starting to know what we're about.
Well, in this season right now, our food pantry is very important.
Okay,
and we've had Jennifer Aniston, who's the new Metro East coordinator for Senator Duckworth. She came down a while back and was talking with us, but then she looked at our food pantry and she said, I'd like to come back. I said, well, come back on this date. Christmas is the day that was this last Wednesday when we had our senior luncheon, and you can help out in the food pantry. So she came in, spent a half a day with us, helped out with all the people, got to meet them, take the groceries out to their cars and so forth. And then the seniors, we have our big senior lunch. We have our Christmas luncheon. She stayed for that, and then she talked with all the constituents that were there. So again, you're seeing a lot of interest in Grafton as far as from the political spectrum and also just from the entrepreneurs.
You need all of it to really continue growing this modern world that we're living in too, and it's great to see it. You got a moment to stick around?
I do.
We'll take our quick break. We'll come back with more Daily Show as the end of the year shows continue right here on Roku TV.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina, When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. Which is good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
That's enough. Ooh, simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Welcome back. I can't say the time because it's not going to be this time when we run. Mayor Morrow, as the year's coming to a close, has there been anything that has been of note that you're going to remember for a couple of years? I mean, the memorial I know is going to be the life.
It's just, we were talking earlier about the $2.5 million donation, which God bless them. I mean, that's moving us forward in a big way. Plus, it also starts bringing in other money. People say, oh, it's real, it's moving.
Yeah.
So, but just having the veterans come in, with to honor and to want to pay. They come in with $100. We had 2 veterans come in. One that was Vietnam veteran, he who had Agent Orange, and he says don't make a donation. They gave $1,000 cash.
Wow.
And we have this program now that as we know, we changed, put in the wall that we're going to put in instead of the granite obelisk because. But anyway, So what it does is that you can get your name then on the wall, your company name, that type of thing. $1,000 for a sponsor for 5,000 spots, or moving on down the road for sustaining. So.
Well, and two, what better way to kind of honor the veteran in your life than to make that donation for them?
And we have so many people who are doing that. They're coming out. My grandfather, my father, this type. So
I mean, because you're truly a part of not only Grafton's history, but this, like you said, this is national history. People are going to come all over to see this.
Correct.
Just incredible. And, we were talking a little bit too, thankfully, because you never know what April brings or what May brings, but, being able to at least weather some minor storms instead of some bigger ones, you think that's helped maybe keep some things going forward?
Absolutely. Because, it's one of those, the businesses, when Grafton gets a major flood like they did in 2019, it's one of those, it shuts everything down.
Yeah.
And we focus on that. And of course, nobody really has that in your budget, and you hope that you're going to get FEMA dollars. I'll tell you, the former administration ran through the 2019 flood, and it was only this year that I started getting some of the money from that FEMA. So it took that long to get there. Now, of course, they want their paperwork redone and keep doing
the red tape and all that, yeah.
But we finally got some money to repair the boat ramp, and that was because of the work that they did putting in the paperwork and so forth. Of course, we had to redo it and, update it and everything. But, yeah, it just takes a long time if they're even going to do it.
Well, and see, I think that's so important, though, for any resident or anybody to know of that process, because I think sometimes mayors in any town, village, you name it, take flack for the process of bureaucratic government and that red tape.
That's right.
And it's good for, I think, citizens to know what those processes are, know that the steps have been taken, and that we are actively working. It just takes time.
Well, and of course the MRCTI, Mississippi River Cities Towns Initiative, we're a member of that. They're looking at a new form of insurance, which basically says that a community or the city, prior to the declaration, once the flood hits, you get paid up front.
That's good.
So that would be interesting. But again, the devil's in the details, and they're working through all of that.
Yep.
And I did an article with them on that about a couple of months ago. But so we'll see how that comes out.
Well, I think I always Ray Hartman and I, when I was doing the show in St. Louis, we had a joke that Ray did such a good job when he was the speechwriter for Kit Bond that the public sent him back to the private workforce. And you've done such a good job. No one's running against you so far for 2025.
That's right. Well, that's
seriously,
good.
I mean that. Not joking aside, that's got to feel good for you, knowing that at least the majority, when it seems like I'm doing okay here.
It does, and I'll be honest. I had some of my the people that didn't vote for me last time came up here, before when this was working and said, "We're behind you for this run. You've done great." So, and that is truly makes you feel
it's a hard
wonderful
thing to do too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very hard thing to do.
is.
It's incredible. And now, what's the Morrow household look like for Christmas time? What's going on there?
Well, let's see. We got the kids are all going to be at their homes. We had a marriage just a little while ago.
Real congratulations.
Well, it wasn't me, but it was my wife's son.
Okay.
Now and of course he's in his late 50s, and his fiance was in her late 50s, and she's the, I'm sure you know who Sue Thomas is.
Oh, yeah.
FM 97.1. Well, she married Michael Pranka, and we had that wedding a couple of weeks ago, and they're right now on their honeymoon. So
it's awesome.
It's never too late.
That's right.
They're out there, and they were childhood sweethearts, and it's just
really
wonderful. Yeah, just wonderful to have that.
That's
happen.
really cool. Well, that gives me hope then.
Yes, there's
it's
hope
never
for everybody.
too late. Well, and as 2025 comes, and we just talked to Dan and Paula, the Grafton Parade just happened, but also the New Year's Eve celebration is going to be happening in just a couple of days at the loading dock. What's 2025 look like for you?
2025 is looking fantastic. I mean, we got people are looking for properties to buy in Grafton, and there's hardly none. You've got new businesses that want to come in. We've got there's one right going to be in front of where Santino's is that they'll be opening up their area down there. It's going to be interesting to see what they have coming in, but. So it's just a lot of good vibes that are coming in for 2025.
And honestly, I think that's something that we need to be aware of too, just as a region, because the more that we can learn about what's going on in Grafton, we're hopping in the car and going to see you.
Yes. Well, and we like that.
Well, and you know what? I think it just shows how things really can work when you're all on the same page and have at least the same mission of let's move forward and let's get more and more people here.
Yeah.
Really cool. Mayor Morrow, it's always great talking to you, and I always appreciate your time. Best of luck as 2025 rolls around the corner, and best of luck in that contentious election.
Thank you, CJ. Have a great day.
We'll take a quick break as our daily show does continue this week. More comes your way right after this.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Dibs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit villagedispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. It is the end of 2024, and Representative Elik, what a year it's been. I feel like we've lived maybe 3 or 4 lifetimes in 2024 already.
I think you're right. When you look back, there's been a lot going on.
Well, and honestly, you've been pretty busy this year.
Very, very busy.
And,
yes, this is a very, very busy job.
Well, right off the bat, what do you grade the year for Amy Elik, if you could, just at an overview?
Oh, do I have to give a numerical, or can I just say really intense?
Yeah.
Exciting. You know, you're watching history unfold and thinking, wow, I can't believe what's going on here. And you just hope you're always going to remember what the year felt like. But then you get to the end and you kind of forget some of the details.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, didn't you start this year off with being appointed to the governor's leadership team?
It's my caucus leadership team under leader Tony McCombie, and it has been a whirlwind. It's just as intense as you would expect, just more meetings and more responsibility and leadership within your own caucus. So you definitely it's another layer added to the job.
Well, and it's just really important, too, because the fact that we're getting some more attention focused on this district, and it's one thing that you can't really get frustrated if they don't know where you are or what you need. And to have that representation, it's really big for this area. And definitely. What have you been able to do with those conversations so far?
Well, the Metro East region is pretty well represented on our House Republican leadership team with Representatives David Meyer and then Charlie Meyer from Oakville. So we are just making sure that when we talk about issues throughout the state, the job growth here, the fact that we're a border state, all of that is represented here in the Metro East. So, we want to make sure that when someone says downstate, they think about it's not just downstate south of I-80. Like we have a major metropolitan area right here. So it's just an opportunity to bring more attention to our area.
Well, and then there's just so much happening in this area too. I mean, you have the bi-state development region and all of the hundreds of millions of dollars of infrastructure that brings, plus developments all over, it seems like, municipalities throughout your district. And the question is, how do you stay on top of that all?
You juggle and you do the best you can. You rely on help. I have wonderful staff that I just cannot say enough how wonderful they are, and they have served the constituents of the 111th just with some really important issues, and served our mayors and served just people throughout the area, and helped in any way they can. So you do it with help. You do it with flexibility. You do it with a crazy schedule where you kind of go from topic to topic very quickly. So you just do what you do. Well,
and it was might have been a month ago, who knows at this point in the year, but we were talking, and it seems like, now that you're a couple of years in, you're really finding that rhythm, and it takes some time to do that. And, given that this year, what are you most proud of?
Well, I'm proud of, I would say, the success I've had. I just was taking some notes, and on January 1st, my tow truck lighting bill will take place.
That's right.
And maybe that's not something that a whole lot of people will pay attention to, but that will improve safety for travelers throughout Illinois.
But, I feel like it's one of those issues that, not everyone will feel the impact, but the ones that do feel it will feel it so much more than maybe just a normal bill would impact an everyday citizen. So it's a great bill for the ones that it does impact.
Definitely. And I think I'm always proud of any accomplishment we can get through on the issue with child sexual abuse in school settings. And I will tell you, there's unfinished work to do, and I'm really concerned because we go back to Springfield on January the 4th. Yes, that's a Saturday. Yes, we're working. We're working that
Erica
weekend.
Harris and I just talked about.
We are working that weekend, January 4th, and that bill. I won't say it sailed through the House because it was actually very difficult to get through the House committee.
This is the
and through
bill
the House.
referring to even being 18 years of age,
Yes.
it's still inappropriate and illegal, correct?
Absolutely creates a crime of abuse of authority by
Yes.
an educator or authority figure. And the reason that's important is that we think that kids should be protected at any age all the way until they graduate. And then it's never appropriate for a student and a teacher to have a sexual relationship. And so once it started moving in the House, it did pass unanimously, and now it seems to be sitting in the Senate. So I have kind of a heavy heart thinking about, is this going to die here in the Senate?
Right.
And that's really frustrating because January 8th is the inauguration day for the 104th General Assembly, and everything that's not done as of, the end of session on January 7th dies, and we have to start over again. So I am very proud to have gotten that through the House, but I am, like I said, a heavy heart thinking, what if we miss this opportunity to get this to the Senate? And it's awful because I don't have control over that in the
Right.
Senate. And so all the legwork that I did in the House, is you're like handing your baby off to someone else to take care of in the other chamber, and you still want to have that attachment to it.
Right.
But ultimately, I have to rely on my Senate counterparts to get it through. So.
Well, and honestly, it's one of those things. It's like, what can our constituents do at this point? Because, the representative that answers to us has already fought for it, and we're just now on waiting mode.
And it is up to the leadership in the Senate. And, that's maybe where you look at how is the leadership within an individual caucus important.
Yeah.
And I think like the Senate Democrat leadership in the Illinois, they're the ones that have to decide we want to push this forward.
Well, and two, just making sure that the public knows that this bill was available, because sometimes I think no matter what your party lines are, I think especially with state issues such as, especially this one when it comes to protecting kids in school, it's not really an R or D thing. It's just a common sense
like
thing.
I said, it was bipartisan.
Yeah, right.
I had support from both sides of the aisle, and everybody voted yes. Actually, interestingly, there was just an article or a news story by WGN Chicago on this bill. And so I was really appreciative to see that. Somebody sent that to me to show me, hey, I think this is your bill. I said, yes, it absolutely is. So there are still advocates fighting for this and still trying to get the word out.
Well, and it should be. I mean, the thing is, with people getting nervous about this new form of like technology and AI and what it could do, there's also some pretty cool benefits. I was reading some things about how they can use their AI coding to maybe be able to do more with online child predators, such as, child pornography and all the trading and that goes on. I mean, it's a thing that I didn't even know existed, and it's awful to even think about that even being a possibility.
It really is. It's so shocking, I think, these things go on online. It is sickening and just shocking.
And the thing that shocks me the most, because I read them for news, is hearing that, some of these things were years in the making.
Right.
And it's like, what led up to finally somebody going to report that individual, and maybe you could have caught him 6-7 months, a year and a half earlier, and saved more children.
Exactly. And I just think of how appreciative I am of the police and the people working behind the scenes to root those people out online.
Yeah.
And I mean, that has to be hard for them too.
Oh,
So,
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
really
to
couldn't
look
imagine.
at that kind of filth online, I just really appreciate that we have law enforcement that is targeted towards those types of
really proud too that it
things.
seems like across the country there's this more of a movement to really start targeting, especially these pornography websites that aren't regulated at all.
Right.
And it's not, I don't care what anyone says, they just aren't.
Right.
And it's just the fact. So I hope that we can get more to a point where we can do more to really target these people.
Yeah.
There's no room for them for me right now. It's just
Right,
not.
and I mean, I think the mental health and stability
Huge.
of our children and their future. We are adults. We have to safeguard their futures, and so they are not just little adults. They are children, and it is up to us as human beings and society to make sure that we are keeping them safe.
Well, and too, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame now with this exploitation because, especially for my biggest fear is for a child in middle school that made a bad decision on some website or app, and all of a sudden this one individual they'll never meet in their life has this blackmail over them, and
Right.
it ruins that child forever.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally ruins them.
Absolutely, and that is hard to see a child suffer through something like that.
Well, and it's good to know that we do have, conversations about it at the statewide level to keep our, communities and kids safe too.
Right.
And with that being said, I know that there was, we're waiting on to see if the Senate is going to do the right thing. And honestly, that's really what this is, and make this into law. But is there anything else that you were working on this year that you'd like to fill us in on too?
I think we are always struggling, of course, in Illinois with the high taxes, high property taxes and other taxes. And there has been a lack of progress on that in Springfield. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But it takes bold leadership and, frankly, on the Democrat side of the aisle to make some changes so that people are not suffering and losing homes over their high property taxes. Yeah. So that's something I'm going to continue to work on. And I think there's ways we can help people, especially senior citizens who maybe they've been in their house for 50 years or 40 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. I mean, I had filed legislation last year to expand a program regarding longtime occupants that they have in Cook County. Why can't we have it here in the rest of the state? Right. And so I'm looking at ways that we can just provide some relief for people.
Well, and I think that little bit of relief goes a long way. I mean, it's, I've always thought how great would it be for that homeowner that for 40 years has lived in that house and paid their bills, and, you're on a fixed income now that you're retired, and you can't get the $20,000 insulation job. So is there a grant that we can help pay for $2,000 or $3,000 of it, at least
exactly.
to help?
It makes such a difference. You're right. The new roof, maybe the new water heater, those things are incredibly expensive, but it is much more beneficial to have someone have some repairs and things like that done than to have to go in a nursing home
or demolish their house in 5 years because you aren't fixing it.
Right. Exactly.
Brilliant.
And let's face it, if you get into that situation, your property taxes may not be being paid anyway.
Right.
So really it really makes more sense for us to figure out ways to help in those situations.
Well, and one thing that I keep getting a little bit, I guess it's just a personal side of things, me getting nervous about is more of these conversations that, you hear the governor with reporters that they start talking about, Donald Trump's talking about this. And what my fear is that the state legislator, or at least from the governor's side of things, is going to maybe detract from what Illinoisans are looking for and need and start trying to, I don't even want to say, quote unquote, safeguard maybe a Donald Trump presidency. Is that something that you guys are kind of maybe a little bit not nervous about, but just keeping an eye on?
Definitely keeping an eye on, especially as we go into this lame duck session. Yeah. I think it's really frustrating because it just proves the will of the voters is not being it's sort of being gaslighted, I guess you could say. Now, while Kamala Harris still won Illinois, you cannot ignore the fact that she didn't win it unanimously. There are many people throughout this state who disagreed with Democrat policies, and to be gaslighted and to be told, don't worry, we're going to keep you safe from Donald Trump. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So definitely watching, but also, so while I've been in office for 4 years, I've always been under a Democrat president.
Right.
And I would say I have noticed that when we see policies coming out in Springfield, you often see something similar in D.C. or maybe Dick Durbin is talking about some topic and you say, well, gosh, they're talking about that within the House Democrats too. And I would like to see some more, I guess, collaboration on things like that. And I think that's where we can lead in the Illinois House, especially. So there are good ideas that are going to come out of the next presidency. And let's see, how can we relate that to Illinois? And people are frankly demanding that.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about government efficiency, for example.
It's a big one.
I mean, whoever says, I don't want government to be more efficient,
Right.
Everyone agrees we need to improve that. And so when you look at what's going on with Doge and those things, while you may not like the personalities, I think it's
exactly right.
Heavily favored issue between Republicans and Democrats that we need to be more efficient. So let's then take that idea and let's kind of expand that to the state.
It's a great point because that way you're actually seeing complete progress across the board. It's not just something that's done at a federal level and, depending on your state's government, if it affects you or if you're going to have to abide by it, who knows? It's a great way to look at it.
Right, exactly. And I think we're going to have to be really efficient here because we have some budget concerns.
Yeah. And let's take a quick break.
Sure.
Maybe talk about those here in a second. We'll come back with more Daily Show as this year continues to come to a close right after this on Get Over Here, RiverBender.com.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Yourself a merry little Christmas.
Welcome back.
Let
Amy Elik
your
back in
heart
studio.
be
You know, before we took the break, you were saying there was maybe some concerns about the budget for next year. And what are you kind of seeing when it comes to that? Because, I mean, not being funny with you, you were a CPA, you know, an accountant in your previous life. So you have a little bit of an insight on these things.
I do, and I pay very close attention to these things, especially representing my caucus as one of the budgeteers. So we, when the reports come out from whether it's the Governor's Office of Management and Budget or COGFA or whoever it may be, and just looking at general economic factors, we watch to see how that's going to affect Illinois' budget. So one big concern was that the governor's own Office of Management and Budget recently issued a 5-year projection, and for next year's budget, so that's the fiscal year 26 budget, they are projecting a $3.2 billion deficit already.
Wow.
So now a couple weeks later, then the governor's office, that came out right before the election. I think it was issued November 1st. And then a couple weeks later, the governor's office instructed departments that, because, you know, they're already preparing their budgets for next year, which the new budget year starts July 1st, but they were told to prepare and find ways that you can, you know, be more efficient or not fill vacancies and things like that. But I think it is decisions from the past coming home to roost. I know that I've said it on this show before. Yeah. Our revenues are not growing as fast as our expenses in Illinois, and it's going to hit the fan at some point in time. And if nothing changes, this is where we're at. And I know the governor's always saying we're going to have a balanced budget. Like, you have to make decisions now, and this is what the risk is of those new programs and those new things that were put into place over the last several years. Yeah. So it's disappointing, but I would say not unexpected, because we've been predicting this.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's one of those where it's just to me, it's a common sense equation. You know, like you said, it's just how much you take it into how much are you spending. And I get, there's new things out there and new programs, and everything seems like $1 million idea until it actually starts. But what do you think has truly led to this confusion, if you will, of what it takes to balance a budget? Because I just don't understand the thought process on a lot of elected officials' minds when they start talking about it. It's like, what does your bank account look like?
I think it is hard to tell people no when they're asking for money. And so many people, legislators, get into a habit of saying, this sounds great. I'm sure these programs, not all of them, but many of them are great programs that are probably helping people. But did we really help people when we have spent money on government programs that has to be taken away because we have spent too much? Or were there other ways to do it? Were there more efficient ways to do what you needed to do? I cannot go without mentioning the billions that have been spent on illegal migrants that have come to Illinois. I mean, it is something that people are upset about. And again, gaslighting people when they talk about that is just ridiculous.
So, and that's what I was curious about, because, when you hear the argument of the migrant issue, which it is an issue, you listen to Chicago City Council meetings and those citizens will very happily tell you what's going on. But, how much state money was diverted for this? Was it
billions.
Was it billions?
Oh, billions. Yes. Especially when you include the healthcare program.
So we're talking just state money. We aren't even talking about federal.
Yes, that's just state money.
See, to me, it's just that thought alone is, well, we're projecting $3 billion already in the deficit. Well, we could have easily prevented this.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
And this is what we've been saying.
It's just amazing.
It's nice to be right, but it's not nice to be right when you tried to warn and you tried to predict, and it's just unfortunate, really.
Well, and I think it goes back to the way the conversation was had, because I think the people that were for this support of the illegal migrants, it was the fact that it's like, well, you're evil because you don't want them to be happy. But the way I look at it is, you have women that are getting sex trafficked and kids that are being raped across the border. You have families getting broken apart and killed if they aren't paying their fees to these smugglers, and they end up here. And it just seems like all the things that we're working for as a country get kind of negated in that conversation, because we forget about all of those terrible things that are happening on that journey up here that's already not authorized.
Right. I think some honesty about the human rights condition about that is really important, because I think if people were really being honest several years ago, they would have found a different way. Yeah.
And it's not really a political issue to me. To me, it's common sense. It's not real. And I just wish that the argument wouldn't be, well, it's because you're, a xenophobe or you're racist, or let's just talk about this. Let's talk about if it's even possible. And if it's not, then it's not.
Right. I often wish that I could get in a room with no cell phones and no hurt feelings and truly have honest conversations with my Democrat colleagues on these issues, because I think they would see I'm more compassionate than they believe me to be. And I know that they're probably compassionate, but do they understand what my constituents are telling me? I want them to hear that part too.
And see, I think we all do.
I don't think they will get in that room with me and not make something all political. I think if we really had honest conversations, it would be very helpful.
Now, on the House side of things, do you think the short turnaround of campaigning affects some of these budget decisions too? Because to me, if I'm somebody that's, with your role, it seems like you have basically a couple of months, and then it's starting the conversation of what's that next term, if it is going to happen, look like. And if I'm new to the game and I want to stay in here, I might take that handout from that lobbyist to go. I mean, just me personally saying, hey, let's get through this and let's keep my job for 2 more years. Does that happen? Do you see that? I don't know. It's just seriously my thought on this.
It is a very tight turnaround. Yeah. And so I think you have to decide very early if you're going to run again for the next term. Right. You really do. Right. Because the petitions start, it's even earlier now than it used to be. Petitions will be passed in August instead of September now. And unless, I guess, something changes. But it's just, you just keep going, and you're very busy during January through May in Springfield, and you really have to make a decision very quickly. People do run for different reasons and different things, but you definitely have to make some really quick personal decisions about what your next steps are.
That's kind of where because to me, if it's that split second of a decision, especially if you're in a panic mode because something happened in your district and who knows what happened, and you want to still run, you're going to grab at anything. It's not you, but an individual might be one to grab at something if it's that quick of a decision. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if I said it to you before, but I know elections are not won and lost. in the 60 days before an election, you have to be on top of your game the whole time. And constituents will know if you're not.
Right.
And so I would say to any legislator thinking about what their next steps are, like, have you done a good job already? And do you like the job? Do you feel like you're making a difference? And I think most people find ways on both sides of the aisle, like, I'm going to make a small difference that nobody may ever see.
Right.
And I talk about that with constituent services. I promise you the most rewarding things I've done is help some people with some really difficult issues, but I can't tell you that because it's personal and private and confidential.
Well, and see, to me, those are the things that I would live for in that role, because it obviously it's great to help 20,000 people, but when you have that one person that's been looking for years for an answer and you can finally give it to them, that's really the role. That's amazing.
It is.
So, what are your thoughts, really when it comes to the primary stuff? Because to me, I think that's where we start to see a little bit more of this bipartisan split, because it seems like we're getting more and more either to the left or right of an issue to beat somebody in the primary, and then can we actually get back to common ground? Do you see that becoming an issue?
I do, and there's a lot of talking heads that are encouraging primaries against Republican House members.
It's not healthy.
I think primaries in general are healthy.
Yeah, I
However,
get you there. Yeah.
when I am trying to serve my district, which is not 100% Republican district, if I have a 60-40 district or a 50-50 district, the decisions I make on voting for bills may be different than what somebody else does in another district. So criticizing me for not being 100% one way is really disingenuous.
Right.
And it's very frustrating. So I am serving my district the best way I can. And I just got reelected. So I think, majority of the voters thought that I was doing that well. So please don't criticize me because I didn't do it the way that you would do it in your district.
Well, and that's what I meant, because you're right. Primaries are healthy. Obviously, keeps you on keeps you honest. But when it becomes the threat of the primary, I just think that's when it becomes this. Like you said. Anyway, with that being said, 2024 is ending, and 2025 starts with a lame duck session. We just had State's Attorney Tom Hayne on the show, and Senator Harris. Obviously, a couple of lame duck sessions have provided some pretty talked about bills, to say the least. Are you anticipating anything?
I wish I could say I know exactly what's going to happen on January 4th through the 7th, but I definitely don't know. And I think it's still coming together. As they say, it's not soup. Sadly, bad things can come along really quickly in Springfield. So we are alert. We are ready to go. We will be spend all night if we have to, and we will make sure that if it's something that's bad for this area, we're going to be really loud about that.
Absolutely. Hey, before I let you go, I know you're a statewide state official, but what are your thoughts on the Madison County scene right now? I know it's part of your district. Are you happy with the work that they're starting off with doing?
Yeah, I think I'm really excited to have my friend Chairman Chris Lesser in the county chairman position. We have good, principled people in the elected countywide positions, and as far as kind of the switch over the years from Democrat to Republican, I think if you're working hard and you're a Republican who's looking to make a difference in Madison County, there's a place for you, and we just sort of did that little by little.
Absolutely. What's your message to your constituents as 2024 comes to a close?
It's one of gratitude.
Yeah.
Absolute gratitude. I am so proud of serving you and honored to serve. When I have events, I have people respond. I just dropped off a trunk full and a backseat full of food down to Crisis Food Center.
That's awesome.
Which is something I do each year to have a food drive just to get a little bit more into their coffers and help them provide those food items for the community. Those things are able to be done because the community comes and supports those things, and I'm just really grateful.
Well, seriously keep up the great work. I really appreciate all that you do to keep us informed too, and make sure that we're informed about what's going on in Springfield. And I hope that the hair does not turn gray during the lame duck session, Representative Elik.
Me too. Thank you.
No problem. We'll take a quick break. More of our daily show continues right after this quick one on Roku TV and RiverBender.com.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Hurry, tell him he can take the freeway down. Run, run, Rudolph, reeling like a merry-go-round.
Welcome back to our daily show on this 18th day of December. Madison County State's Attorney Tom Hain in the studio. How are we doing, man?
Great to be here. I love your Christmas decor. You got the nativity set. You got Father Christmas. This is beautiful.
I'm getting excited. You know, we're going to the Christmas party today, so I got my best Clark Griswold impression for when the bonus comes. You know, like I'm ready for it. I got the pool all ready to go. You know,
the office Christmas party. Oh, where all the personal drama comes out.
That's right. Well, you know, Tom, you guys have had a really busy year, and on the show we talk about it, you know, every day, talking about, you know, whether it's, you know, crime being reported, trials coming to a conclusion. And it seems like, seriously, the state's attorney's office had a little bit of everything this year, from cold cases to just, you know, regular everyday crime, and then a little bit outside of that, you know, kind of just dealing with, you know, the new way of doing things.
Right.
How do you guys think you kind of handled it this year, just right off the bat?
You know, look, I think we've done as good of a job as we could do. I think we have a really good team. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the main thing is it's a team effort. And in a county as large as ours, you know, we're the top in the top 8 counties in the entire state.
Wow.
You know, we're the largest county south of the collar counties.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so we have probably the biggest prosecution office south of the Chicagoland region. Wow. And that just means we have, you know, I can't do it myself, not even close. I mean, we have a team of 60 people that works every day to make sure that we have a safer community. Wow. And so it's really a big effort, and it takes everybody working together. And I think we've really done a good job. I think, you know, I was going through the last 4 years, actually, but every year I also go through the last year. I issue an annual report to the county board. I actually brought a copy for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Review it.
Man, I feel good. Thank you.
Make sure our finances are in order. But we issue an annual report because we care about telling the community what's going on. In fact, I have it posted on our website. Every annual report. I've done one the last 3 years, and I'll do one again this year. But, you know, there's never been a time period, a 4-year period, that I can find in the history books where we have successfully prosecuted as many felony crimes as the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Never. So
It's
we've been setting records. We've also never charged as many cases as we've charged over the last 4 years.
Really?
Ever.
Wow.
So I think we are, I mean, and again, that's thousands of cases.
Right.
We charge over 3,000 cases every year. That's just the felony cases. So
that doesn't even include, like
traffic, misdemeanor, doesn't even include them. We have many thousands more of those.
Right, I'm sure.
And so this kind of volume takes a huge effort. And we have a fantastic team. We have a fantastic team of supervisors, line attorneys, new attorneys, support staff. And, we're working with great law enforcement. Sheriff Connor's a wonderful sheriff. He's probably the best sheriff in the state of Illinois, I think. We are privileged to have people like him. You got Jarrett Ford and Alton just doing a fantastic job. You got Granite City, Collinsville, Wood River. I mean, these are great law enforcement agencies that we're working with. And that team effort, I think we're seeing results, and I think we're doing as well as we can. I think we're having a lot of success.
Well, and honestly, it's a good point you bring up, too, with all those different, jurisdictions in different towns, because I always say Alton's kind of like a town made up of 7 islands with the wards, and we're all kind of, but Madison County really is that, because every town has its own landscape and its own domain and its own history. And, whenever you kind of talk about it in that way where you're covering, these towns and you're working with these police chiefs, even though it's different, layouts, different people, are the core values and those core goals pretty much the same throughout the entire county?
Yes. I mean, so we prosecute crimes from 28 different law enforcement agencies. So, a lot of different towns have their own law enforcement police departments, but we also bring in cases from Illinois State Police, sometimes from federal agencies, and so the Sheriff's Department. So we coordinate every day with law enforcement across the county. And we have a very united law enforcement community. We have meetings with the chiefs routinely that I attend or my office attends. We have constant communication regarding potential cases, charges. And then once the cases are charged and we have to bring them to trial, we have constant communication with the law enforcement agencies. And so we're really privileged to have a smooth coordination between all those agencies, and that kind of interaction results in, for example, the recent cold case murder that we were successful in convicting Roger Sutton of the murder of Patrina Butler, and that was 10 years ago.
Right.
And so what happened in that case is kind of extraordinary, because I always tell people, in order to have a successful, safe community, you need 3 things. You need to have the report of the crime. You need to have the investigation of the crime, and then you need to have the successful prosecution. In order to have the initial report, you have to have trust in the community that if you report a crime, it will be investigated and successfully prosecuted. If people have the experience of reporting a crime and then seeing nothing happen to that person who they know victimized them, they just won't report it. And so the initial report is this undervalued part of the law enforcement apparatus, because it shows trust by the community in the law enforcement, and then ultimately in my office to bring justice. And so in the Roger Sutton case, that was a 10-year-old case where a key witness, his nephew, decided he could not live with himself anymore.
Wow.
Because he saw Christmas ads around this time of year. He saw Christmas ads on TV. He had gotten his life cleaned up. He had been, a drug addict and had been homeless for a while, and so was going through a lot. He had gotten his life cleaned up. He had gotten clean. And then he saw Christmas ads talking about the value of family. And he remembered 10 years prior observing his uncle kill Patrina Butler Turner. And so I think that his decision, based off of that emotional, realization that he couldn't live with himself anymore, he just walked into the Pontoon Beach Police Department.
Really?
He just walked in and he said, I want to report a murder. And then when he walked in to report that murder, that decision to do that took trust in that law enforcement agency to actually do something about it.
Right.
Because had he not had that trust, he would never have reported it. So once he reported it, that started the investigation. They did a fantastic investigation, coordinating with a lot of outside agencies, Granite City, the Sheriff's Department, and brought us a case that we could prosecute, and we were successful in obtaining a first-degree murder conviction. And so her family now has the closure. For 10 years, they didn't know what happened to her, and now they know, tragically, but they also know that the person who victimized her, who murdered her, is going to spend. He'll be in his 90s when he gets out of prison. So I think that's a good example of the community trust that's necessary, and that takes time.
Right.
That takes a lot of time. It's easily broken. too. If you have a situation where over a period of years, the community has an experience of not seeing justice done in cases, they will not report the crime. It's hard to rebuild that trust. So,
Well, because it becomes a fact of the matter of why am I wasting my time?
why am I wasting my time?
Right.
Yes, and then that's really hard to undo. That it's really a culture.
Yeah.
And I think we have a culture in Madison County of trusting and reporting crime. And I would just encourage anybody watching this, if there's one thing you can do to increase our community safety, it's to report crimes when you see those crimes and to not assume somebody else will do so. Take the time. It's a true public service to report that crime to law enforcement. It takes time. It puts yourself on the line, right? But without that report, we can do nothing. With that report, we can really help your community. And so that's one of my main messages to people. Bring us the case so that we can bring justice.
You aren't going to know the problem if you don't know it exists.
Exactly.
You know, and on top of that, too, I think, policing and being part of the community and that trust goes a lot further, too, because, I have Centerstone on twice a month, and we talk about substance use disorder treatments, but also, seeing how the county and some of the judges and just, some of the state's attorney's office, some of those programs to really help those folks that want the help, that want to really get on that fast track to maybe, turning that life around quicker. Can we talk a little bit about some of those programs?
Absolutely. So, I tell you, one of the most moving events you can attend, and you should come sometime. Perhaps you've been there. Is the drug court graduation?
No, I haven't been. I've always wanted to go to see.
You should go. It's an incredibly moving experience. So Madison County, I think, has one of the first drug courts
really
in the state.
Wow.
Yes, and it has multiple tracks. You have multiple people at different levels of offending, but the reason why they are there is because they have been faced with a choice. Do I face prosecution and conviction or potential jail time, or do I want to get my life clean? And that clarity allows them to suddenly get their life on track.
Yeah.
And they'll tell their stories. They'll stand up at the drug court. It will be filled with friends and family. It will be filled with the police officers who arrested them, sometimes dozens of times.
I'm sure,
over a period of years. The police officers will be there in the courtroom. Judge Knapp typically runs drug court, but Judge Schrader is there sometimes as well. They will go through the before and after picture, the mugshot of the person when they were arrested, and then the present day person. It's night and day. And I think this is a great example of how, sometimes too much mercy can actually be unmerciful.
Yeah.
And that they needed to have the strength of the criminal justice system forcing them to get their life on track. You'll have their kids there. Their significant other there, their mother, their father there, and they're so thankful. They will thank the court for strictly applying the sentences. They will thank the police officers for arresting them, because they'll realize that, and they'll say time and time again, this process saved my life.
Right. Well, and see, that's the thing, because life's not about giving things to you, and getting those handouts, and participation trophy rant aside, it's about really putting that effort in. And what I think is so important about the drug court is you're rebuilding families.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just, that individual. You're rebuilding that mother that for 12 years or 15 years was probably in the tumultuous battle of a lifetime mentally trying to take care of the children. I mean, it's really important stuff.
It's a horrible experience to be addicted to drugs. And I think that they will tell you it's a demon. And I think it requires the strength of the entire system, providing that extra reason to actually get clean. That's just one example. I mean, one thing about being a prosecutor is that you never have to take a case you don't believe in.
That's a good point.
So we have discretion. So, we prosecute 3,000-4,000 felonies per year, but we never have to move forward on a case that we don't believe in. And you always are dealing with the individual. And so we have a pretty strict line when it comes to violent crime, and repeat crimes.
Right.
Repeat incorrigible offenders who are just out there committing crimes.
Right.
You see them in your neighborhood. You know who they are. We'd appreciate it if you reported them to the police, because honestly, those individuals just need to be removed from your neighborhood so they don't victimize other people. But we also believe in second chances.
True.
And I think those nonviolent offenders, those first-time offenders, those are the cases where you can really apply that discretion, and that requires the humanity of the prosecutor. And I think that we have a great team that strictly applies that violent crime line, that makes sure that we are obtaining 60-year sentences, 70-year sentences, life sentences, to make sure that these people are never going to victimize other people, but also are looking at the humanity of each individual case and are providing second chances to those first-time offenders, or nonviolent offenders.
When I was over on the radio, the most fascinating thing I heard is that law enforcement officials say is there's a respect, regardless of, who's in what position and who's, maybe facing some consequences for actions, who's not.
Right.
There's always some type of a relationship and respect from that defendant, the suspect, to the police and the is that somewhat, do you believe in that?
Absolutely. And that's the thing that, I'll tell you, the Safety Act, that whole process, the implementation of the Safety Act, there's this academic perspective that just does not understand the nature of criminal justice. Yeah. That they assume that that defendants resent the system. Very often, defendants understand. Right. They are probably the most understanding that they need to be held accountable. And so I think that there is an absolute need for us to fight back against this idea that if you give people infinite chances, they'll just suddenly reform. Right. We have a system of law. We have a system of the rule of law. We have to hold people accountable. And the reason why is the rest of us are living our lives. We deserve, at least for our tax dollars, at least for the fact that we live in a civilized society, we deserve to have safe neighborhoods. I'm talking about everybody. Right. Not just wealthy folks. No. And here's the other thing that people don't understand. The impact of soft on crime policies has the most negative impact on the poorest communities.
I was fascinated by that because that's what it really seems like. It does, and that's just subject matter here locally. Absolutely. You don't see the crime surge in Blue Fountain. You're seeing it at Alton Acres.
You know why? The difference between success and failure in those communities is very low. In that they don't have extra funds to hire an ADT security system. They don't have extra funds to have a nice fence around their house. They are living paycheck to paycheck. Many of us are living paycheck to paycheck. And so they don't have the financial wherewithal to provide that buffer of safety between themselves and a dangerous neighborhood. If they live in a dangerous neighborhood, their kids are hearing gunshots. And so I think that ironically, a strong criminal justice system best serves those who live in the poorest communities because that's their security system.
It's a great
Their
point.
security system is the local police, not their own private security or their own security system around their house. So I think there's this misunderstanding that a strong criminal justice system punishes the poorest among us. It's the opposite. And I think that everyone in law enforcement who has worked in this system will tell you that. It's the people who have never worked in the system who have this completely opposite view. And it's frustrating to me.
So do you have a couple minutes to hang out with me? I got to take a quick break, but I want to come back and follow up on that point too, because it does seem like more of these experts are not really experts. It's just kind of a subject matter thing and not really hands-on conversation, with the designing of the Safety Act and so much more. We'll take a quick break because I haven't taken a break in a while. 9:52, we'll come back with the Madison County State's Attorney right after this in the heart of the 618.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
When you hear
I didn't show the gallows. 9:56. Welcome back, Daily Show. Madison County State's Attorney Tom Hain joins us now. And, I kind of feel like a lot of times when we try to have debate and conversation publicly and maybe even with our neighbors and friends, sometimes we don't maybe understand the process in which something works. And not like a patronizing kind of jerky way of saying it, but just because when the statements came out and the law came out, it was kind of confusing.
The Safety Act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so really, what is the process for this now? How does it change? And what is your guys' formula? If somebody is, picked up, they're facing some charges, what does that look like now?
Yeah. So now, in order to detain anyone, the judge no longer has the discretion to set a variable amount of bond based on the severity of the offense or the person's criminal history or danger to the community or likelihood to reoffend. Those were all reasons why the judge could set, a variety of bond or no bond on a case. Now, it's all up to my office to file a petition to detain. If we don't file a petition to detain, the judge has no discretion to detain that person prior to trial. And so there's a list of crimes in the Safety Act that are detainable. That list changed. There's also a backstory. I mean, we could talk about this.
Right.
For
No, this is like its own weekly show in itself.
There's a backstory. There was an initial version of the Safety Act that was a total disaster, a complete catastrophe. And that was the version of the Safety Act that resulted in a lot of political back and forth during the governor's election.
Was that, not to cut you off from this, but was that when we started seeing maybe some of those violent crime?
Yeah, so the
stuff?
list of non-detainable offenses, there's all sorts of political back and forth.
Gotcha.
The governor even claimed totally falsely that there was no such thing as a non-detainable offense. I mean, there are such things as non-detainable offenses.
I got to use that the next time I get pulled over.
Exactly, yeah. I'll tell you a couple of them. One is car theft, non-detainable, still under the Safety Act. Whoa. So there was lots of misinformation.
Yeah.
Although I hate that term, but in this case,
it's true.
Falsehoods that were bandied about during that governor's election, to be frank. The governor and I have had many differences. I've sued him many times. I say it like I see it. So
right.
In that case, there was a version of the law that was a complete catastrophe. That was the version that was being attacked and defended during the governor's election. After that election, right before the law was about to go into effect, literally 2 weeks before, January 1st. It was
the lame duck, right?
Yeah, they amended it completely. They said it was a technical amendment. It was a 350-page amendment that totally changed and, in fact, vindicated all of the people who said that original version was a total disaster. So everyone says, oh, no, there's no problems with the Safety Act. It's perfect. It's fantastic. We're going to run for re-election on the Safety Act. We designed it perfectly. Everyone who says it's a problem is a political fearmonger or whatever. And then after the election, you make all the changes that they suggested, and then you declare victory. So I still don't like the Safety Act because it even though they eliminated a lot of like the most insane versions of the original version, they still tied the hands of judges. They tied the hands of prosecutors. They made us go through a huge series of hoops before we detain people that we did not have to do before. And that's basically an unfunded mandate. I have an entire division of my office now dedicated solely to charging and filing petitions to detain That's several $100,000.
That's what I was curious about, because
yeah.
you have to change course if you have to really. I mean, you're under a microscope now.
We have to file to detain within days, and if we don't, the judge can't hold them. So now we have to do it, and that takes a huge amount of personnel. I mean, several $100,000 of personnel are now dedicated to a process that previously, took one person in our office. So that's an unfunded mandate. That's a real impact. Now, what we do is we file a petition to detain based off public safety. We can only file petitions to detain on detainable offenses. There are such things as non-detainable offenses. And so our initial assessment of when to file a petition to detain is judged by a conversation with the law enforcement. So law enforcement, when they bring us the case to charge, they will identify, we think this person's a danger. And they will bring us the reasons. We don't know.
Right.
Because we're not on the streets.
Right.
So we have to rely on law enforcement, and we have great law enforcement. And so they will bring us an assessment of whether or not this person's a danger and whether or not this person's charged with or will be charged with a detainable offense. And then we will file that petition to detain, and we will bring it before the judges. We've filed hundreds of these over the last year. We win about 80% of these petitions to detain. It's ultimately up to the judge whether or not to detain. The judge is also restricted, though. Previously, under our cash bail system, monetary bail, the judge had a sliding scale of options. He could have a bail of $200 or $200,000, and it would be determined based off an assessment of a degree of risk.
Okay.
Right now, the judge only has one option: detain or not detain. He can also put conditions on release, electronic monitoring, but either way, that person's out of pretrial confinement. It's either detain or not detain, and there's no monetary penalty hanging over their head anymore. So the judges are hamstrung, but they are ultimately the ones that decide whether or not to detain that person. But the initial ability to file to detain is restricted by the Safety Act. So, for example, we had a case where a guy was charged with 4 retail thefts in a row. So we filed,
very consistent.
Very consistent. Every couple of weeks, this guy would go in and steal stuff.
Right.
Up to a felony amount, right? So these are 4 felony retail thefts in a row. We receive all 4 of these charges at the same time. We could not file to detain because that is a non-detainable offense under the Safety Act. Under the Safety Act, you have to let that person go, and then if he commits another crime, then file to revoke. But he had already committed four crimes. There's no exception for multiple offenses charged at the same time. Similarly with car theft. Car theft under the Safety Act is non-detainable.
See, that's amazing to me.
It's amazing.
Honestly.
Yes, and I think the powers that be in Springfield likely are not going to agree with my political philosophy at this point in time. And so I do think there are some amendments to the Safety Act that would be very helpful, among which is allowing any felony to be detainable. That's not the case. Seems natural. It's not the case. Ultimately, leave it up to the judge, but allow any felony to be detainable. Also, right now, the only reason to detain is based off of an assessment of public safety. Are people in danger? Well, for something like retail theft, are people in danger of repeat retail theft? No, but it's corrosive to society.
Right.
It's corrosive to businesses. It damages communities and neighborhoods. It creates a culture of crime. Yeah. So I think there ought to be the ability to detain someone for basically likelihood to reoffend.
Right. That's a good point.
And right now, so there are some amendments that we could make that would loosen up the I feel like sometimes we're fighting with one hand tied behind our back. I'd like to have 2 again. But, in the meantime, we're doing our very best. And that's the process now. We rely on law enforcement, and we are detaining people, and we're detaining serious criminals. We'd like to be able to detain more because we think there needs to be something immediate that happens to someone when they are charged with when they commit a crime that impacts them. Otherwise, there will be no teaching effect that we don't want crime. Right. If you have to wait 2 years before you have any impact on your life, that's not a way.
And to me, I think that victim advocacy goes a long way too. And for that victim, especially when, there was times where I was seeing some domestic cases that I'm going, whoa, how is this even possible? For that victim that goes, hey, I just got, assaulted. I'm going through the trials and tribulations of my life with someone I cared and trusted about.
Right.
And now on a subsequent offense, I can see this individual 500 feet away walking to the store. And to me, it's like, where's the advocacy? Where's protecting all the rights of folks? Because it kind of just seems like we're protecting more of that, the criminal or the suspect's rights more so than that victim that was battered, abused, and that's just me. That's not really putting words in my mouth, just what I'm seeing, reading the news.
I couldn't have said it better. I mean, again, we can only deal with the law that we have.
Right.
We have to do our best, but it is outrageous. Why do people become prosecutors? Because we want to fight for victims of crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is very frustrating when you have a passion for this vocation of prosecution. And this is people across our office. And yet the law prevents you from taking the steps necessary to hold offenders accountable. And you have victims who are coming to you for answers and you have none because you cannot do what you believe is necessary and what they believe is necessary due to the restrictions of the law. Yeah. And I think that's quite frustrating.
Well, and that's why I really wanted to have you on too, because I think as taxpayers and being county citizens, and all, it's good to know that hey, our prosecutors are fighting for us. It's just there's a lot going on, and there's been some success. And I mean, one thing I wanted to talk about before I let you go is because I did flip open the first page and get to glimmer at the numbers a little bit.
Annual report time.
So you were about $200,000 under budget for your general fund. Is that true? So how does that? Are you pretty proud of that number?
We've been under budget every single year I've been in office.
It's incredible. Seriously.
We it takes a lot to run a criminal justice system, but I'm a conservative. I think taxpayers need to be protected. Yeah. And I think if I'm committed to doing everything possible to make sure that we're under budget every year. And every 4 years of my time as state's attorney, we have been under budget significantly. Wow. And so I think that's helpful because we ask for funds, but then we protect them. And I will tell you a positive note. So
yeah, please.
Whenever you talk about crime, sometimes we can become frustrated with the way that Illinois has set up its criminal justice system, which is totally legitimate, because I am frustrated as well. But I am very optimistic about our local county. Yeah. So we have a big county. We have a dynamic county. We have some pockets of our county that struggle with crime more than others. But we are making real strides. So, for example, in the last 4 years or 3 years, Illinois has seen car thefts in the entirety of Illinois has seen car thefts go up 60%.
Whoa.
In that same period of time, car thefts in Madison County have gone down by 20%.
It's incredible.
So it would be great if they went down by 20% in any year, but when everyone else is experiencing historic highs and we're actually seeing fewer car thefts. Now, I see that as a real testament to our proactive law enforcement. We have a Cross River Crime Task Force. We have fantastic commanders of that Cross River Crime Task Force. We had Sheriff Connor first. We have now Coroner Nick Novasic second, and now we have Marcos Polito third. They are sending a message that we are a tough on crime community, and I think that is an optimistic view that we are making real impacts, real strides locally.
100%.
That even despite the laws that are coming down from Springfield. And so just imagine what we could do if we had a little help.
True. Well, and then I wanted to close with this because, on top of it all, you guys encompass a lot of individuals from a variety of, crimes and severities. But I think it's, I don't want to say promising. It's good to see the action at work because, keeping kids safe is important.
Right.
And it seems like the last couple of years, and it might be in conjunction with the cyber crime task force with or the missing or exploited child crimes against. It just seems like there's more of these cases that are really starting to be, brought up, and these folks are being held accountable that were, really doing and thinking about doing some very terrible things. And so on top of that all, with the violent crimes and the financial crimes and the exploiting and elderly cases that you guys deal with on top of, like trafficking with, cargo and all of that, how do you keep the communication consistent to know, hey, we're taking care of, children's rights. We're taking care of, making sure our highways are safe. What's that communication look like in your office? I got to just know
it's complicated. Yeah. You got to be on your toes.
Right.
Also, you have to really care about fundamental principles. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we always talk about. We have a mission statement. It's on the back of that annual report, and it's all over our office. And so our mission is to focus on first fundamental principles. Mm-hmm. And so when you begin with fundamental principles, what you have is the Constitution. And so our first priority is making sure that we do not violate the Constitution. We make sure that we protect our Second Amendment rights. We make sure that we protect the procedural rights guaranteed by the constitutional provisions and our Bill of Rights. And so I think that's where you start. But then on top of that, you build a system of proactive, aggressive law enforcement, and that deals with just constant improvement. So we're never satisfied. If I come in here next year and I say, hey, car thefts are down 30%, well, I'm disappointed it's not 40%.
Right.
Or also crime ebbs and flows, and so we have to respond to that. It changes. Right now we have a significant meth problem. Some years we'll have an uptick in shootings. Right now we also have a juvenile crime issue. That's a totally separate conversation.
That's one for it, because that could be a whole nother hour.
Very concerning.
Yeah.
But again, we're making progress. So I think you have to be on your toes. You have to keep fundamental principles in mind. You have to keep telling the community we are doing the work. Bring us the facts that allow us to put dangerous criminals behind bars, and just every day work a little harder.
Yeah,
so
100%. Well, seriously, State's Attorney Tom Hain, thank you so much for stopping by. I always enjoy chatting with you, and you're welcome back anytime.
Hey,
you guys have some shoes to fill though. Hot seat for 50 minutes without any questions sent to them. That's pretty darn good, right there.
50 minutes. Oh man, when you hear it, just feeling the Christmas cheer. We need some eggnog next time.
That's right. Well, seriously, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck as 2025 rolls around the corner, and would love to talk more about what you're doing to help the juvenile crime statistics and more whenever you have the time to.
And everybody can go to our website, which is newly designed and hopefully user-friendly, madcosao.gov. And you can find every one of our annual reports. You can go down the list and see exactly how under budget we were every year. and I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions.
Absolutely. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks.
We'll take a quick break on this 18th day of December. We're going to step into a time machine 100 years ago with Lacey McDonald. Well, with over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Guys. I got these two knuckleheads. Sorry, man.
The year continues. Right here on RiverBender.com, it's our daily show. Candidate for trustee, Gerard Fischer. How are we doing, man?
That, huh?
Well, you need more to do.
I need more to do. My plate is empty. Right?
Well, this is exciting. When we were talking about this, I think that you'd be a great trustee, sir. You don't want my endorsement. I'm not going to do that to you and ruin it. But
yeah.
I think, you have so much passion for the Village of Godfrey, all the fire protection district stuff, plus the work you do with American Family, and then plus on top of that, other organizations. What was the real reason for diving on into this?
Well, the reason is boy, we go way back 6 years ago when I thought about running for trustee for the fire department, and it's been 6 years now, and so my term has ended, and we have had a lot of accomplishments with the fire district and everything. So I just thought I'd shift gears a little bit and stay in the political world and run for Godfrey Village trustee.
Well, it's that Godfrey's really on this precipice of growth, it seems like, where it seems like in the next couple of years, if everything's done the right way, the next 20 are looking really good.
Right.
Is that what you're seeing
Yeah,
too?
that's what I'm seeing too. And Mayor McCormick's done a great job
Mhm.
with it.
Yeah.
Has a great vision with it and everything. And so just like to be part of it, that to continue the growth.
Now, take me through, the Fire Protection District, obviously the big crowning pinnacle is that beautiful fire station that's on Godfrey Road. But what led to all the work leading up to that to get that done?
There was a lot of work, first of all, being a business owner in Godfrey for 29 years, I decided to be a village or a Godfrey Fire Trustee. When I stepped into that position, the general fund back in 2019 was only about $190,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so some work had to be done, and we applied for a bond to get the bond approved.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, the bond was approved before COVID.
That's right. Okay, now it's all coming together
Yeah.
again. The COVID blur hit you.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I mean, here we are saying, how much do we ask for?
Right.
We can build a fire station for between $5 and $6 million before COVID.
Right, and then it doubles.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
it goes
and-
up ridiculous.
Yeah. Long story short, that's $8 million.
Right.
So, we were able to build that station for $8 million. Had a project manager involved that helped us out substantially. I mean, I know a little bit about insurance. Matt Horn knows a little bit about real estate. I don't know anything about building a building.
Right.
Well,
especially one that's functional and serves as a first responder. This isn't an office,
we want to make sure it's done right?
Well, and too, it's different. That's another good point because it's not like you're building this for you. You're building it for 20,000 plus Godfrey residents. How many? I don't know how many there are.
About 16.
But 16,000, residents that are looking at this every day.
Right, and you're building it for the firefighters.
Right.
And something that's going to stay for the next 75, 80 years.
Right.
So we want to make sure it's done right.
Mm-hmm.
We did do it right. We, after everything's all said and done, this $5.5 or $6 million project after COVID now turned into $8 million.
Right.
It could have been a lot more if it wasn't for our project manager helping us to work with the other,
No doubt about
the general contractor and the architects and everything like that. So that's a great accountment to see there on Godfrey Road.
You saw anyone that's paid attention to those building rates and those stats saw. That's why I said 10 to 12 because everyone was looking at about 100% increase in their building cost. That's how crazy it got.
Yeah.
I was in Georgetown, Gerard. This was amazing. I was, believe it or not, when I was in pro wrestling, I was helping run the finances and the business side of a construction company, and it was right after the freeze went in and everyone's pipes bursted in Austin. So I got good at talking to insurance company.
Exactly.
Well, we went in and I said, I was talking to one of them about their Xactimate, and I go, guys, what are you doing here, man? You're saying that this 2x6 or 2x4 is $36. You're kidding me. I go, it's $54. I'm looking at it right now,
It is.
And that's one piece of wood.
It is.
It's amazing what it did.
It's crazy. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Well, and what did you have to do to stay on your toes for that with that project? That's a lot of focus.
Well, that was the purpose of hiring a project manager, so he would stay on top of it and everything.
Smart.
They did, and everything turned out fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody in Godfrey saw that it was. We put the shovel to the ground in February of 2023 and opened it up in March of 2024. So it was.
You're right. That was a quick. If only you built the car wash.
I wasn't gonna, CJ, I was going to leave that to you. I wasn't going to say that, but I knew you'd throw that in there.
I'm telling you, whenever I go missing, look for the car wash people. That's all I'm saying.
It is starting to look good, though.
It is actually looking really good. What's funny is I was kind of mad. I drove by it the other day and went, if only it looked bad so I could actually make this more funny. Now the joke's on me.
So, same thing my wife said. She says, that thing is starting to look pretty good, pretty attractive. I said, yeah, it is.
Well, and with all the things happening too when it comes to running for office, I think the biggest disconnect, because we all think that, not all of us, but the ones that want to run think, we can do this.
Right.
But you learn so much in those couple of months, that first couple of months you're in office, and being a trustee for the Fire Protection District, do you think that really has helped you kind of prepare and understand what this role is?
Oh, absolutely. We built a great relationship with the Village of Godfrey. I mean, I think since I've been there, the relationship has strengthened
Oh,
between
yeah.
the Fire Protection District and the Village of Godfrey. I don't think too many people realize that they are two separate entities.
Yeah.
And that, there's a board that runs the fire district and there's a board that runs the Village of Godfrey. But yeah, the relationship has been strong. There are a lot of things that, we learn, you learn when you're in there. And that's why I really enjoyed being involved with the firefighters. They'll be part of my life forever. They're great guys. And we are so blessed to have these firefighters in Godfrey.
Well, 100%, and good for for the firefighters to know that there's advocates in municipality positions that say, "Hey, we're going to get through this. We're going to get you some good upgrades," because the night and day transition from where they were to where they are now is it's amazing.
Right.
Well, and with that being said, if it's okay, the old firehouse on Delmar, what was the plan? Was that recently sold?
Yes, the Delmar has been sold.
Okay,
yes.
I'm sorry.
And that was handed over to the village, and the village could have done.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was both the fire stations were exchanged for the property of the old highway house.
Thank you for clear. I've always been kind of curious about that, how that worked out.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
perfect.
And it's a win-win for both the fire district
Really was.
and the village. Just a win-win-win for the Godfrey.
Yeah, I mean, well, and too with Godfrey, what I think's so unique about what's going on in Godfrey is it seems like the growth is on all spokes of the wheel. From people get mad at me. I like the roundabout. I really I do. But I think it's great. I like the Woodman Trail. I think there's business development going on, but also you have something that other towns don't have in that space. And, with that, do you think that there's more growth on the horizon, more building that you think can be done?
Oh, absolutely. There is more growth, especially in the northern part of Godfrey. I believe from what I hear is that square mileage wise, Godfrey's the second biggest city or village in the state of Illinois.
I could see it easily. Yeah. Well, and you have the highway that comes right on in there and all this beautiful space to use too. So there's a lot at your guys' disposal.
Right, and we're seeing the village. You're seeing the construction right now north of the Dollar Tree. Yep. So a big top shelf liquor store is being put in there and everything. So I think once you see that up, I think you're going to start to see more growth.
Well, and too, it brings up another good point I didn't even think about is, another aspect of Godfrey is the fact that you have a state-managed road that's through your, entire thoroughfare.
Absolutely.
How important is the communication from your guys' local offices and trustees having those conversations personally, the mayor's office, then also relaying that to IDOT? Because to me, it seems like that conversation's the most important.
Right, and I think the mayor and the village works very well with the communication on that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask you, what's on top of your mind when you're running? What are you looking? What are the top 4 or 5 things, or top 2?
I'm just looking to continue the path that it's taken now. I think
I like it.
Like I said, Mayor, you got a good quarterback in there. You don't need to bring in a new quarterback. I think Mayor McCormick's been doing a great job with it. The vision is great. I'd like to help support him with growth. I truthfully don't know where they're at with the rec center, but
that's right. That's very right. I forgot about that.
Well, be willing to take a look at that, and hopefully, with myself being in there, can utilize the same approach we did on the firehouse as far as the rec center, of how much money it saved the fire district with the project manager looking that route for the rec center.
Well, and that's a huge point because sports tourism is not going anywhere. And it's something I've been having conversations with Corey Job about and others is you have the space. Soccer is one of the most participated sports in the state and in the country, and you got baseball and all these other things. Plus now with the pickleball craze that's coming in, you have space to utilize it. Build it, and they'll come. You know.
And I'm not saying that.
Oh yeah, no, not putting words in your mouth.
I'm not saying that we need to build it. Or anything.
No.
We need to look.
It's a great idea.
Take a bigger look at that.
I like it though. You know what I like? It's refreshing to not hear someone come on and go, "Well, I'm changing the world here."
Right.
It's just let's support this. Here's my thought. It's going good, so let's keep helping.
Right.
Like it.
Let's move forward and keep it growing.
Look at that, Gerard. Right. How about that? Hey, you got a moment to stick around?
Yes, absolutely.
We got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll come back with more Gerard Fischer right after this. Oh, but right now, Gerard Fischer.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Just see those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Welcome back. Sorry. Not on this date in history. This is Gerard Fischer. He's the candidate for trustee for Village of Godfrey. One of them, anyway. I think before we go any further, I want to circle back to this general fund because it's been on the top of my mind. 2019, you got what, 190,000?
Yeah, 190,000 in there.
Now where are we at? If you don't, you had the fire.
Now with the new building and everything going on, we're over $2 million in the general fund. So we've done a great job.
Wow. Wow. So in 5 years, you're talking $2 million.
Right.
That's incredible. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
I think we've just been smart with our spending and being cautious and everything. And that even includes paying off the construction loan of the over of what we had on our bond money. So we paid that construction loan off as well.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm not being funny.
Yeah,
I thought that would have been kind of the caveat to this.
So the only debt we have right now is on the bond. However, one of the things that we have approved, and we do have a ladder truck that's ordered, and it should be here in February, March, April.
Needed.
And it's something that's needed in the Godfrey area. So we will have a new addition to our fleet of a ladder truck.
Well, and another thing that I think is needed, and anyone that's watched this show during the time it happened knew that I was not very happy with the fact that I feel like Godfrey missed an opportunity with survival flight.
Yes.
I felt like there could have been, especially with the way Godfrey's geography is. You're going from municipal to rural to all these different aspects of how long it could take for someone to get there. We've had ambulance services on talking about this really big issue of this turnaround time and wait time.
It is a big turnaround and wait time. and we've addressed it. And it's not just a Godfrey problem.
No.
It's not a Madison County problem. It's a state problem. It's a nation problem. It's tough on that. There's been some wait times. I know the chief has record on it where they're waiting on some ambulance services 30-40 minutes, and it's no knock on any other ambulance service. I mean, everybody else is doing a great job.
Yeah.
It's just the more opportunity we have to bring an ambulance service into our community, the better off the Village of Godfrey will be.
And the thing I think of too is it does so much more than just saving lives. I mean, we're talking job creation. We're talking, bringing people into the village to live maybe for the first time or around it to be a part. I mean, there's just a lot that goes in there.
Correct.
But the thing that breaks my heart is, 30, 40 minutes, if you're having an AFib attack or you're having a serious medical episode, that's not looking promising.
Right.
So it's good to know. I mean, it's just my thought on the thing.
Yeah, and then my same thoughts too, and that's one of the reasons why I'd like to run for trustee on this. I mean, we just saw in the paper, like within the last month, Survival Flight moved into Roxana area, right? And what did they move into? An old firehouse.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So.
Well, and with that being said, too, going back to this $2 million budget or the $2 million that's in this general fund. Is it one of those things? Because to me, if something's going good, I'm staying there until it goes bad, and then somebody else can kind of take the. That's just me. That's just me.
No.
But is it one of those things you just feel confident?
I feel very confident, and I mean, I felt like there's been a lot of accomplishments that during my tenure, and I'm not saying I did it all or anything like that. No way of that. But during my tenure, we've had that increase happen. We managed our money well. Now we're up to where we have 5 firefighters on each shift.
Wow.
So that's great. We have a total of 15.
Not a lot of towns have that.
No.
Wow.
So that's fantastic for the firefighters. The firefighters' morale right now is great.
Have you seen the Facebook page?
Yeah,
they're having fun.
They are having fun, and they're training a lot and everything.
Yeah.
They do a lot.
Well, and that's what I think so cool about this is it's seeing the fact that they have obviously one of the most stressful jobs in the world, being a first responder.
Right.
But when you're able to be provided a training space, a learning center, and then you're able to have a little bit of a morale boost on social media, gosh dang, why wouldn't you want to work there?
Exactly. I mean, we just had 2 new hires that went through training in Champaign.
Yep.
Their 10-week training in Champaign. They're back on force. I was there this morning and talking to one of them, and he just absolutely loves coming to work.
That's a good problem to have.
And he's like, I love this place and everything. And the thing is, again, I think I mentioned we opened up March 1.
Yeah.
But I was in there today. The place looks just much brand new as it does today than it does March 1.
That's good.
They have, the firefighters take really good care of it. They're always cleaning. They're always mopping. They're always making that thing look spick and span. It's a fantastic facility.
Well, and getting into, back a little bit more into the trustee side of things for the village, you've had a different position than most because you talk to a lot of people, and not in terms of, business or making sales, but just people, their problems, what they're going through. Do you think that's going to help you with the communication process?
That's going to help a lot, and especially if people would support me and vote me as a village trustee. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed or anything, but I have a network of people that I can contact and hey, how do we handle this? How do we handle that? And that's how you become successful.
Well, and I think with the trustee side of things, people try to make alderman and trustee grandiose positions when in all reality you're just picking up the phone and listening sometimes.
Right.
People just want to talk and say, here's what I'm going through.
Well, and that's what people, especially with
that's what I'm getting
my
at.
business with American Family,
Right.
They're like, Gerard, how do you do it? You're doing so well with the agency. Well, I hire people smarter than me and I get out of the way.
Right. Exactly right. They always that's the same thing with the show. They're like, how do you get all these things? Talk to them. I'm just talking to the microphone.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I think that shows what it means to really be a team, because Godfrey's a team. And no matter what the political side of things does for the next 3 months until April 1st, at the end of the day, April 2nd, we're on the team again.
Right.
We got to drive
We're
forward.
on the team. Yeah. No matter what, we're still on the team. And I mean, the community events that we just did, like I just
that
saw
was
you.
cool. Yeah.
That Santa breakfast with Santa.
Yeah.
What a fantastic event. Fantastic.
It really
event.
was.
Yeah.
And I think those go such a lot, because life's stressful right now.
Yes,
I mean, it really
is.
And so to have these things where, you know what, for at least 30 minutes, I'm not thinking about the bill that's due tomorrow.
Right.
Life's pretty good.
Yeah.
For at least for the 30 minutes.
It is. And to see the faces on the children's eyes, on Saturday and everything.
Oh, that was cool.
That was cool.
Well, and you'll see the North Alton Godfrey Christmas highlight video will be coming out soon. I'm still working on the final touches,
very
but
good.
I got a lot of the kids meeting Santa and Mrs. Claus and having some fun. And the reason I went back to that customer service side is because, I mean, I was just talking before we came on there. I'm like, Gerard, listen, I got the roof problem, but now I got this window well problem. I don't want to touch the roof if I got to fix the basement, but it's one of those things where people are going to have really bad problems or maybe some nasty things to, say because the way they feel things are going.
Sure.
And to me, being an effective trustee isn't just going, well, hello, how are you?
Right.
It's being able to handle those situations that are tense.
And to listen.
Yeah.
And listens to people.
That's what
concerns.
I meant. I mean, not trying to patronize you or say, I support, but I just think that's very important in this role.
Yes.
Well, and I got to ask you, are you excited about the Woodman Trail here?
I am.
Yeah.
I was there for the ribbon cutting on that as well.
I saw. Actually,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
okay, I was deja vu all over again.
So I was there to be able to attend that, and I'm really excited to see Phase 3, and hopefully I could be a part of that by being on the team of the village trustees by that time, because I think they're going to start construction in the summertime, which will connect all the way over to Glazebrook. So I'm looking forward to that.
I just think it's a great idea. I mean, you have the space, utilize the space, and what a great donation too of land, correct?
Exactly. And the ironic thing of it is that when I first became an agent with American Family, the location where I'm at now, I bought the house from the Whitman family. So,
That's awesome. Full circle.
Yeah, so it has a little bit of a full circle there for me. So.
What have you been hearing just talking with people about this? Saying, hey, I'm going to take a shot at the trustee seat, one of them. What are their thoughts? What are they facing, their challenges or anything you're hearing?
I'm seeing a lot of support and everything.
Good.
So
good.
I think we'll be fine.
Is there anything on the top of their mind? Is it like street repairs? Is it roundabout? I mean, not being funny. Is it the roundabout? Is there any concerns?
And I think the roundabout is more of the IDOT.
You're right.
Situation. It's just if Godfrey will accept the funds or not, and I think that's Godfrey accepts it.
Yeah.
Who's going to turn down $12 million or whatever it is, right?
Whenever we did the roundabout show, that was what sold me, because it's like, when else are you going to get this offer?
Right, right. And I'm glad to see that they came back and redesigned of how it's going to work and everything, so that we'll always have a way to get through it. And I was even being on the fire trustee, we wanted to make sure we had some.
You're right. You're 100% right.
For first responders.
I didn't even think about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I meant. So is there? So it's really just kind of a support message. It's not, hey, Gerard, go fix my road right now. Well, and I think it just goes back. You have this unique geography, because in Alton, you're in a town. I mean, granted, you have some outlying spots in Fosterburg or other, maybe more rural portions, but for the most part, you're in a neighborhood.
Right.
But in Godfrey, when you get out to Airport Road and you see, just the rural side of things, and past that, you got to represent them too and make sure that you're doing it. And I love talking about the ambulances, and I think it's important to know that you're there looking for it.
Absolutely. And not to get back on the ambulances, but that would have been a great location because you're right there.
Yep.
The railroad tracks on Tully Lane are can be a nuisance sometimes, so you're right there next to them. So that would have been.
Do you know how many times I was late to school because of that? Well,
how many times you weren't?
That's I was getting ready to say how many times I told them it was because of that train.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Well, as the race gets closer and closer, I just wish it wasn't on April 1st. Could we have bumped it one day?
I know everybody's like, no, really, what day is it? It's April 1st.
Gosh. But I would like to talk to you again as the campaign starts to heat up a little bit.
Would love to. Love to be back.
Really, thank you for the support on the show with American Family, and thanks for being a good insurance agent too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because even before we talked about his race, he was still here because, American Family Insurance is always there to look out for you, even over themselves.
That's
How
right.
about that?
That's right.
Well, did I tell you the story whenever they did the roast to Karen? over there, and I said the best joke would have been like a good neighbor, Gerard Fischer's there.
Yeah, that's right. I wish I could have roasted that.
I was ready for it.
Yeah.
And I botched it this time.
Yeah.
All right, Gerard, I'll let you go, but always great talking. Come back soon.
You bet.
More of our daily show continues as 2024 continues to come to a close right after this on RiverBender.com, and get over here, Roku TV.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway safe rubber tire dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.